It's story time.
Hello and welcome to the Storytime podcast. And this week I have with me Laura Hutchinson, who is behind the YouTube channel and blog How to Get Your Shit Together.
That's right.
It's the short version on YouTube, is it?
How to GYST.
That's it.
If you search How to Get Your Shit Together on YouTube, it will come up.
You'll come up, perfect.
Yeah, but the site itself is howtogyst.com, and same on Facebook and stuff.
And is there anywhere else you'd like people to find you on the internet? All the links will be down in the description in the show notes on SoundCloud.
I'm all over the place. Snapchat, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter. You'll find me everywhere as How to GYST.
Perfect. I will put all the links down in the description just for ease of access. And I previously talked about life online with Aideen a couple of weeks ago. We actually did that in Irish. But this week we're going to talk about we're actually not going to talk about like blogs, which is what we have in common, but you're actually going to share a story of something that I've never experienced, like online kind of harassment, like kind of stalking maybe, or offline, I mean, of course. Real life interaction.
Weirdos.
Yeah.
Meeting weirdos in real life.
Yeah, so take me through that one.
So years and years ago, when I was quite young, I think I just turned 20, and I moved up to Dublin for the first time and was looking for a job, and I got a job in a shop, which I won't name.
Yeah. Yep.
But they have like a chain of shops. So there was a chain of them. I got in, it was my first job in Dublin. Kind of thought I was great. I was delighted with myself. I was about to start college, but I was just looking for a job to kind of tide me over. So everyone in there was kind of in the same boat. Like, it was all very casual work, and we were all quite young. We all got to know each other. And I got on really well with everyone. And then there was a guy in there. We didn't work in the same department, so I didn't really know him, but I still would have chatted to him. The shop wasn't huge or anything. So I used to chat to him pretty much every day, like kind of, hey, how's it going? And then one day he asked me if I wanted to go to the cinema. And I was kind of like, no, thanks. Maybe it was because I was so young, but I didn't really think anything of it. I didn't think it was like a date or anything. So I was just kind of like, oh, no thanks, I'm grand, sort of thing. That was fine. I didn't give it a second thought, really. And then,
yeah, I mean, you wouldn't. Like, I go to the cinema with my work colleagues actually regularly enough.
I didn't.
We're all mad into the cinema, so
didn't bat an eyelid at it. So a few weeks went by, and he'd kind of mentioned it a few times in between. And then one day I spotted he had a tattoo on his arm from the elbow all the way down to the wrist, and it was a girl's name. Again, I won't say the name. We'll call her Mary.
Okay.
So yeah,
it wasn't your name anyway. That's the most important thing.
Some other girl's name tattooed all the way down his arm. So I spotted it one day, and then the next time he asked me if I wanted to go and get a drink or something, I can't remember, I jokingly said, oh, I don't think Mary would be too happy about that. And he kind of gave me this look, and he was like, oh no, there's kind of nothing going on there. And I thought, oh God, he was, you get drunk and you get someone's name tattooed on you. And then you break up and regret it.
Oh my God, if anyone has done that, please, I'll have you on the podcast to explain to me what you were thinking.
That actually would be a great podcast.
Yeah, that'd be a great podcast. It'd be a great title on YouTube. I got drunk and got a tattoo of somebody's name.
Feeding the podcast here. Yeah, so I didn't push it because I thought, oh yeah, drunken mistake, okay, don't mention the ex sort of thing. And again, another while went by, and I was actually leaving. And on my last day in there, I was in the canteen having a break. He came in, it was tiny little canteen. He came in and gave me a box of chocolates and a banana.
Okay.
What? What do you say? So I was like, oh,
thanks.
Cheers. This is an interesting.
I'll cherish
a lovely
banana.
Balanced diet there, a lovely balanced lunch for me. So I kind of just said, oh, thanks, that's very nice of you. So he told me the story of Mary. And he volunteered all this information. So he sat down and he said that this Mary was a girl that he liked, and she had a boyfriend, and he wasn't very happy about it. and they had worked together in another shop in the same chain of shops.
Okay.
Back in his kind of hometown. And they got to know each other working in the shop. He really liked her, had asked her out a few times. She had always turned him down because she was seeing someone. And he then moved to the shop that I started working with in Dublin. Like, he moved to Dublin and started working in this other shop where I started. But he used to go back and like basically wait around for her, and like would go into the shop and say, "Oh, is Mary here?"
Sounds like a very one-sided love story.
Very, yeah, well, love is probably pushing it a bit as well. But he used to hang around like waiting for her to go on her lunch break and stuff, and she would say like, "Look, I'm not interested." Really creepy. And then it got to the stage where the staff were kind of like, "She's not in today, go away."
And he told you this?
Told me this. Like, I never
So he
asked.
was aware of her uncomfortableness.
Yeah, oh, he knew. Like, and he must have known on some level, because he was like, "Oh, I knew she was definitely working that day, you know, because I'd seen her go in or something, and they told me she wasn't there, but I knew she was out in the back, out hiding in the back or something." And I was like, this is a really great story.
Yeah, real. Yeah, I'd love to go cinema with you now.
To the door.
Yeah.
So what happened anyway was he had been out one night and spotted her in the pub, and she was with her boyfriend, and then they went on somewhere else, like to a club or something, and he followed them.
Wow. Oh my god, and I can't believe he's offering you this information.
Who would tell you this?
Yeah, here's
like,
the story of a time that I'm really creepy in the story.
I'm sure we've all done things that, looking back, we're kind of like, actually, that was a bit strange.
Potentially, yeah.
But you don't go telling people.
Yeah, you don't go, "Hey, listen, this time I was a total creep."
Wait till I tell you the story about that time I followed that girl. So yeah, he followed her to this nightclub, and the boyfriend turned around at one point and told him to take a hike. I don't know if they got into like a physical altercation, but he wasn't very happy anyway. The boyfriend told him where to go.
In fairness.
Absolutely. And he went off and got his tattoo immediately afterwards.
What? Where's the 1-2 there? That went from like 1 to 10.
He was
like,
kind of like, you know, "I'm so in love with this girl and you can't keep me away from her." And then when the boyfriend was like, "You need to put an end to this, like you need to cop yourself on," he was like, "Oh, I'll prove my love." And went off
getting a tattoo.
and got his tattoo. So
I take it didn't work.
no. Shocker. Jinx.
Shock.
So I'm sitting in the canteen like, wow, that's a great story. Thank God it's my last day here. So he told me the story. I was like, that sounds a bit strange. And I did tell him, I was like, that does sound a bit unusual.
Yeah.
But it was my last day, so I kind of, again, didn't really think that much of it. Thought it was weird, obviously. I finished up, went about my business, and then a few days later, I got a text message. Now, I had never given him my number.
Oh dear.
So a text message from him saying, "Hi, this is John," we'll say. "How are you?" So I'm obviously like, "How did you get this number? I never gave you my number." And he said, "Oh, I got it off your personnel file."
Oh my god. That's really creepy.
Yeah.
That's weird. That's like not. That's
crossing a line.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
That's, oh my god.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
So I was kind of like, okie dokie. I didn't really know what to say at the time.
Oh my gosh, this is very scary.
So again, he was just kind of like, "If you ever want to like go to cinema or go out sometime," and I was like, "No thanks." Again,
Yeah,
like,
I'm
this is
good.
a few little red flags now. So this kind of went on for a while. I would get phone calls, which I never answered. I would get pretty much constant text messages, which most of them I ignored. Sometimes I texted back to be kind of like, "Look, I'm really not interested. Like, I really think you should stop texting me." And then I would like be silent again for another while.
Well, you can't be clearer than that, really. In fairness.
You would think.
Yeah, you would think. It's pretty clear.
This went on for, it started in about September, And then at the beginning, end of August, start of September, I would say. And then coming up to Halloween, so end of October, things started getting really weird. He would send me messages saying, like coming up to Halloween, he sent me a message saying Happy Easter. And I was on a train home at the time and I was like, that's a bit strange. More random messages about just totally random things. And then the one where I really started to get worried, don't worry, we'll spend Christmas together.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Like, that's frankly terrifying.
That is terrifying.
That sounds like a threat.
So I was, at that stage, I was thinking, I'm possibly going to have to go to the guards here.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
Because it suddenly twigged with me, if this guy got my phone number off my personnel file, my home address is also
Oh no!
there.
Oh no!
Like all my bank details would be there because obviously for payment and stuff. So I just kind of suddenly realised, like initially I was like, okay, you got my number, that's a bit strange.
Oh my god, but he could have had your home address.
Yeah, like everything was there. So I'm like, well, if he got my number, right below it would have been my address. So...
And the thing is, like, that would really fuck me off because I have had my number the whole time. Like, my number's quite important to me, and people sometimes push it off and go, why didn't you just change your number? But like, that would be a huge deal to me if I felt I had to change my number.
Yeah, I mean, again, I was young, so like
now.
the number thing didn't really, I was like, oh, that's okay. But it was only then when the messages started getting really weird, like that we were going to spend time together, that we'd be together basically repeatedly, like constant phone calls again, which, like I said, I never answered.
Is like, if this happened to him before, like, this is obviously he likes when women don't want to be with him whatsoever.
There's a pattern. There was clearly a pattern.
Like, I like the chase, but the chase isn't quite enough. I want, like, to never catch them.
But I'm kind of like, this guy has my phone number. He probably also has my home address. He knows all sorts of information about me. He probably knew where I went on to work afterwards.
Yeah, because they probably would have had that somewhere.
Yeah, I mean,
if they gave you any sort of exit interview, they'd know.
It was just really, it was all... But that's when I started to get really worried, and I was kind of like, I may possibly have to go to the guards here. I really didn't know what to do because I'd never experienced anything that freaky before.
And reporting him to the place he works for, going through the personnel files as well, could have like backfired.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do. I really... And then I didn't.
That's the scary thing when someone's totally crossing lines, but then if you push back and try to like report them or something, they're like, what? I was only, oh my god, I'm only showing you a bit of affection, and they like,
yeah,
could totally,
I was just trying to be nice, I was just trying to be friendly.
Flip, yeah.
She gave me her number,
and then could you up at your house and Jesus, you don't know what to do with that sort of stuff.
I really didn't have a clue what to do. So I thought, I'll just ignore the messages, I'll ignore all the phone calls. That didn't work. So then I'd reply and say, look, I'm really not interested, like, please stop contacting me. That didn't work. So like, at what point?
Yeah,
I really didn't know
couldn't
what
have
to
been
do.
clearer there.
So eventually I didn't tell my parents because I thought
Didn't
they
want
would
them worrying.
freak. Yeah.
I understand.
I didn't know what to do. I honestly didn't. Looking back, I'm kind of like, obviously go to the guards, obviously talk to your family or your friends. But back then,
yeah, but also in the moment you don't really know what to do.
Hindsight.
And hindsight's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. So I didn't say anything, and then in the middle of November, so this had been going on 3 or 4 months at this stage. Middle of November, I was graduating. There was like an award ceremony from the college I had graduated from. So I went to that, and my parents were there. We had a great night. I came out, we'll say an hour or two later, pulled out my phone, and there was like a whole stream of like missed calls and text messages from him. And I'd only been in there for about an hour or two, and like my phone was just full of messages. So at that stage, my parents twigged because my face just completely fell. So they asked me about it. I said, yeah, look, this guy has been like texting me. He's been calling me. I really don't know what to do. I'm thinking I might have to go to the guards. And my mum, bless her, she's a worrier at the best of times. Like, she was stressing out over it big time. So I'm standing there kind of like, I don't know what to do at this point. I really don't know what to do for the best. I don't want to antagonize the guy, but I also don't want to like sit back and do nothing and then have him show up at my house some night. So my dad kind of said nothing, and then after a few minutes he was just like, give me your phone. I was like, okay. I thought he just wanted to kind of read the messages that the guy was sending me, but he called him. I'm sure the guy was like, she's calling me. He was probably delighted. Thought all his Christmases had come at once. Not that I think I'm anything special, but
but
he obviously didn't think it at the time. So the guy must have said, hello or whatever. And my dad was just like, I'm Laura's father. I know where you live. I know where you work. And if this doesn't stop, I'm going to fuck you up. Basically, I will find you and I will beat the shit out of you.
Don't fuck with Daddy Hutchinson.
And I had never... Like, two things happened that night. One, the guy... I never heard from that guy again.
Really? Just like that worked?
Yeah, my dad, like... It was terrifying. Like, my dad, the way he was just kind of like... It was real Liam Neeson
Yeah. I don't know who you are.
And two, I realised my dad is like... a fucking legend.
Badass,
Yeah. It was so strange. But like, I've told people since, and I'm pretty sure like this guy now has like Mary down one arm and Laura
That's just going to be my next question. I was like, do you think he got a tattoo of you now?
I would not be surprised. But like this happened, God, it must be 13 years ago now. But I still sometimes pass that shop because it's in the city centre, and I still always like hide my face when I pass. I don't even know if he still works there. I have no idea where he is or what he got up to. But every time I pass, I still like walk past. Like this, like just in case.
Oh my god.
It was freaky. But like the weirdest messages, like we'll spend Christmas together. Like, we'll spend our lives together. I'll call you tonight. And
I just don't get how it could be that one-sided. Like how.
But it's like volunteering the information that you have previously stalked someone.
And then redoing the thing,
Yeah, but like at the time I didn't realise that was a heads up.
Yeah, but also...
You're next.
When he was telling you this story, he was aware that the woman wasn't into him. So I don't get... So he obviously understands the woman is not into him.
Yeah.
So why continue? Like, you think that stalkers think that you're in love with them too? Because otherwise it doesn't make sense.
It must be like, I just have to prove my love to her, or if I keep at it,
hard to get.
Yeah, if I keep at it, I'll crack her eventually, or I don't know. Obviously, you can't really know what's going through someone's mind, like when they're...
And so in the end, in that instance anyway, you didn't end up having to go to the guards because your dad handled it like a boss.
No, but I was going to. Like, that was the plan, that I was going to have to go to the guards about it. But Dad stepped in. Thank you, Dad.
Well, this was online now, so it's slightly different, but I did go to the guards once and it didn't do me any good, So I was working in a newspaper at the time, and like it's very easy to find where the locations of... And I'm just going to stop here for a second. I don't know if people can pick up my dog barking in the background, but we're just going to ignore it. It's really annoying me.
Freaked out by the stranger in the house.
I don't know if it can be picked up on the mics anyway, but it's she's going to get a telling off from me when we're finished. I tell you that for nothing. And so was Alex for not stopping her barking. But anyway, so I was working in the newspaper, and it's very easy to find out, like when you're working in a public place, or like it's very easy. Their company addresses are listed on Google. So this presumably a guy was tweeting me he disagreed with something I wrote in the capacity of working there, not with anything I do on YouTube. So he found me on Twitter, and he would tweet me very graphic, violent rape threats. I'm gonna, I know we work, I'm gonna come and I'm gonna do this to you, blah, really, it was horrible. And then I would block his account. And he would set up the same account again, but with an extra number in the end, so I would know it was the same person and do the same thing, and I would block.
Joe Blogs 1, Joe Blogs 2.
Exactly. So it kept going. So then it got to the point where I was like, I had blocked about 5 accounts at this point, and I was like, okay, I'm blocking it, but like he's continuing to do it, and it was making me like, why was my heart was in my throat when I would walk into work from my car and back, because I was like, because he obviously knew where I worked.
But I got to the same, like I was walking home, like, is he going to be waiting at the house when I get back?
Terrifying.
Is he following me? Because he actually sent me a message one day saying, who was that guy you were with?
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my! Well, he
Sorry,
was
it's all
following you
flooding
then.
back to me now.
Then he was following you.
I don't know, like if he just, like I went out for lunch with a guy that I was in college with, and he obviously spotted us, and I got a message on, who was that guy you were with? Is he your boyfriend? Like,
That is terrifying.
But like I can't say for definite he was actually following me. He may just happen to have been in town. But it's still
terrifying.
Yeah, he still spotted me and was kind of like, I noticed you're with somebody.
Yeah.
Who is it? Who is this
Just
person?
the thought of being watched, even if it was by accident, is really
Freaky. Yeah, but it was the
freaky.
home address kind of thing. I was like, this, if I go home some evening and he's like standing at my front
that's
door,
terrifying.
or like is hiding somewhere and I go in the front door and he like comes in behind me, or I wake up in the middle of the night and he's like throwing pebbles at my window.
That's why I do think that the Snapchat ghost thing is quite scary.
This new map thing.
Yeah, because it
I've
goes right
ghosted
down to your.
myself.
I've ghosted as well, because it says your address. It
Yeah,
says
it's
like
right.
you can go right down and figure out what room in your house you're in. It's terrifying.
Yeah, it is really weird.
But just to finish that story, I went into the Gardaí and I was like, which are the Irish police, for anyone who doesn't call them the Gardaí in their country. And I mean, he was very nice, but he was like, somebody's tweeting at you. And I was like, yes, somebody's graphically tweeting me. Here's what they say they're going to do
It's
to
like
me.
an online text message.
And he was like, he goes, right. What do you want us to do about it? And I was like, well, it'd be great if you could, like, perhaps find the gentleman and tell him to stop tweeting me
Probably
rape
not
threats.
that difficult to track down.
Yeah, and he was like, but it's anonymous. And I was like,
But it's linked,
but
it's
surely
linked.
there is some sort of IP address you could find, because he's potentially using the same computer to set up these accounts.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh geez, no, we wouldn't have anything like that.
No,
and I was like, do you not have a cyber division? He's like, oh no, Jesus, no, we wouldn't know how to do that. And I was like,
This isn't LA, you know.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, where do you think you are? Hollywood. So he was like, no. I was like, okay. He was like, he's probably just messing, just give him a few weeks and he'll probably get bored of it. And I was like, but what if he isn't messing though?
Yeah.
And he was like, he's probably messing. He was like, well, I'm going on holiday now anyway for a couple of weeks, so when I get back about 4 weeks or so, I can give you a buzz and we can see if you're interested in making a statement.
But like, you wouldn't be at the station if you weren't interested in like, pursuing it.
And I was like, cheers to that. And then I get a phone call about 3 months later and he's like, yeah, so I'm just following up there on cases and stuff, and I was just wondering how you're getting on. And I was like, yeah, I'm alright. I was like, I said, well, I didn't get raped, if that's what you're asking. And he was like, so he was messing.
Like, I'm laughing, but like that's.
But he goes, he was messing. I was right. And I was like, and he was like, do you want to still come in and make a statement? And I was like, no, I was interested in making a statement 3 months ago when I was genuinely concerned I was about to get raped on my way home from work.
Yeah.
But now that he's stopped threatening me, I don't see any point making a statement, because you've already told me you can't track him down. And he was
what
like,
is the difference
all right,
between
best
that,
of luck.
I'm sure, like, how long ago was that? I'm sure things have progressed maybe a little bit.
A year and a half.
Okay, so I was thinking like 5 years ago or something. When
maximum 2 years ago. I think it was like a year and a half. I think it was just before I moved job.
Oh, okay. I was thinking maybe, this was the dawn of the internet.
Yeah, I think it was like 2006. Like, that would make sense.
Tweet?
Yeah.
What's a tweet?
Yeah, but it was 2015.
Okay, no,
so.
that's not acceptable. But what would be the difference, like, between that and maybe the guy sending you letters or calling you up on the phone?
Yeah.
Like, there is no difference.
Yeah.
He's still communicating with you that he
Yeah,
wants
and
to help you.
arguably it would be easier to track an IP address than where maybe a letter came from. But
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
there is definitely, like, it's probably not called cyber division, but there is definitely a part of the police force in Ireland that can deal with that, because there are always like articles about
Some new
they've
cops sitting
taken
in the
down
corner.
this ring of terrorists posts that were organising through WhatsApp or some shit. Like, how can they do that? And then he can't track down some guy tweeting from his home computer
I bet
in
you
his
it's resources.
basement.
Resources. It all comes down to resources. But I don't understand that. Like, if somebody had approached you in the street or was continuously approaching you in the street and said, I am going to rape
If somebody
you.
was sending me letters, exactly, that's a great example. Like, if somebody was sending a letter being like, I'm going to come to your place of work and rape you, I would
would be
hope they
taken.
would take that more seriously.
You would assume they would.
So
take
just
that.
because the communication's easier and more instant, it's like, that's fine. He's
Yeah,
probably
but see,
just
that's what
messing.
I was thinking. At
Nobody
the time
would
as
bother.
well.
Like,
I was
it-
like, what would like? I go to the guards. I say, this guy's been like, none of them were really like, he wasn't threatening to hurt me or anything.
but
they
it was
were
still very threatening.
But at the time, I was still like, what are they going to do about?
I think if it makes you feel really uncomfortable and if it makes you feel threatened, then it should be taken seriously.
I think so too. But obviously,
And it's not
like,
up.
your
it sh-
story does
yeah.
not fill me with.
But it shouldn't be up to us to convince somebody to be like, no, you should take this seriously because I feel very threatened. Like, and they're like, oh, you're just overreacting. He's probably just messing.
yeah, until you
It's probably just fancies you. Like, would you not go cinema with him?
Oh my god! Imagine.
Would you not give him a shot?
He's obviously really into you. He's going to all these lengths, breaking into personnel files like file cabinets.
Yeah, it's your fault for putting him in the friend zone. I mean,
I don't understand it. But there is that like fine line between someone saying, look, I really like you, and kind of pursuing you and just being a little bit over enthusiastic, shall we say, and
with a crime we're all guilty of. I've definitely done it in the past, where you were more into somebody than they're into you.
yeah, and you
But
might
there's
kind of-
definitely a line and then a field between that and where your guy was.
and that line is a tattoo. Or we'll spend
God,
Christmas
I'd actually
together.
love to know. That's a lot of tattoo.
I don't want to know. I don't want to
Imagine
know.
then
what-
he'd have to tell the next girl. He'd be like,
probably
yeah,
told the
so
story.
I am. Wait till I tell you about Mary
He's probably
and
got the two
Nora.
legs done as well at this stage. But like, I look back and I'm thinking like, he forewarned me that this would happen.
Yeah,
But I thought,
I
no,
wonder.
my last
I'd
day,
love to
I'll
know,
never
like,
see him again.
just like. I don't want to meet him or anything, but I'd love to like hypothetically just find out like if he ever got married, because it feels like to me like he only likes women when they don't like him. So like if he had a successful relationship, I feel like he wouldn't be into it.
There's another story about a guy who was now married. It wasn't as bad, but like, he was interested in me. I was kind of initially a little bit interested, and then he was like totally full on, and I was like, no, this is not going anywhere. And again, like, texting me, calling me for a while, and I just said, look, I'm not interested, that's the end of it. And in fairness, he did kind of back off after that. I would get the odd text message and stuff, but really weird things. I'm not even going to repeat them, but again,
like
kind of like,
graphic-y sort of
yeah,
too
kind of,
yeah,
yeah.
too personal,
asking me to do certain things and sending me pictures
hard pass on
of
that.
himself and stuff.
I hate that.
And then randomly, very recently, I got a tweet also from him saying, oh hey, how's it going? And I was kind of like, well, so many years have passed, I'm sure he's grown up. I had seen from his account that he had got married, so I was kind of like, oh hey, what's the story? Like, congratulations.
Give him the benefit of the
on
doubt.
wedding.
Fair enough. Like, we're all adults now.
Yeah,
We've all
I was
grown
like,
up a bit.
congratulations on the wedding. He said his wife they were expecting. I was like, oh great, congratulations. And then I started getting private messages, like basically kind of wanting to pick up things. I was like, you are married. You're married, you have a child on the way.
Oh my god.
I just, and then I was like, and again, initially I thought, like, so many years have passed, like, I'm sure it's totally fine now. He's married. Like,
Yeah, I'm sure he like,
obviously moved on.
He knows that he is married.
Yeah, but no, it still made it very clear that
It's just
if I was interested, it was still all up
yeah.
for grabs.
God. I don't understand that, because I don't understand in particular men who cheat while their wives are pregnant. I just think it is like the worst thing that you could do to
lowest
someone.
of the
That's the
low.
lowest of the low.
really
Like
is.
Look, we're all humans, right? And if you stray or whatever, it's up to your relationship to figure it out, work it out.
yeah.
But I just think while someone is carrying your child,
Yeah,
that is dirt. Like, there's no
different
fucking
level of
excuse.
it.
It's a different level of shithead.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not just betrayal. It's like, no.
can you imagine if the tables were turned and like, say, like your husband's pregnant and you go, okay, I'm just gonna go off and shag this like hot dude next door. Enjoy your pregnancy. Like, while you're throwing up in the morning. Yeah, while you're throwing up in the morning, I'm just gonna go out and pop one out.
I know you're at your lowest, and I know you need me like more than ever, and you need the support. But
and then when there's the excuse given, you know, like on the reality TV shows or like on Maury or whatever, and it's like, well, I didn't get any sex from her because she was pregnant. It's like, because she was pregnant. Like, just leave her alone for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know. There's like, surely you can go like a while. Yeah, I don't understand it either.
And also, may I introduce you to your new friend Pam and her fucking 5 fingers, like, or well, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird situation.
Oh, it's mad.
But yeah, there are people out there who do strange things that I cannot comprehend.
Please let us know down in the comments below if you have been a recipient
stalked.
Of stalked. let's just get it out there. Have you been stalked? No names, obviously.
No, nothing that can be.
Yeah, we don't want to ever have to meet these people. I don't want to be getting messages from them being like, excuse me, you mentioned my name there and I'd like that taken down. No. So tell us the stories in the comments, but try and keep it as vague as possible.
Or if you are my stalker, I don't want to hear from you either.
Yeah.
I don't want to know if you have the tattoo or not.
I don't want to hear from you either. So, yeah, okay.
Move on with your life. I've moved on with mine.
Tell people again, remind them where to get you on the internet.
How to GYST. You'll find me pretty much everywhere with that.
And do you want to quick explain to people what is How to Get Your Shit Together?
So it's basically like productivity and personal development. So I talk about time management, it's kind of motivational stuff, but in a non-cheesy way. So I'm kind of like, get your arse off the couch and go do something, rather than like, you know, think happy thoughts.
Yeah, think positive.
Yeah, not the secret sort of stuff where, you know, just imagine it and it will happen to you.
Just think yourself rich.
Get out the door and go do some work. But yeah, I try and keep it kind of lighthearted, but at the same time, like, offer practical advice.
Before we finish up, I just have to point out that I have just noticed there are unicorns on your shirt.
Yes.
And oh my god, that is the most amazing shirt. It took me so long. I only have to notice in the horn. I thought they were just horses at first.
I was so close to also wearing my unicorn necklace, but I was like, that's a touch too far.
Oh my god, I love unicorns. That is amazing.
I like it. I got it in the kids section in H&M.
Oh.
Yeah, always good for a bargain.
Because it's so business looking. It looks like you wear it to work. And then it's only on closer inspection that you go, oh, they're unicorns.
Yeah, it's very sneaky, very sneaky. But you could wear it under like a blazer and everyone would think you were professional. But I'd be like,
I totally want to get that for work now. All right, I've gotten distracted. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing your story. We are on YouTube and on SoundCloud. Links are in the description. Please check out the Patreon and see you next week.
And we shall now go share fashion tips.
Yes. I'm off to H&M children's section. Not an ad, not a sponsor. Okay, bye.
See ya.